Hi everybody! You've probably noticed that children are surprised by literally everything in the world. Clouds, flowers, unusual trees. Unfortunately, time goes by, and gradually people cease to pay attention to everything that surrounds them. But we know how to fix that. After all, there are many unusual natural phenomena in the world that can surprise anyone, including scientists. Are you ready to learn something new about the amazing natural world? Something you could have never imagined? Then let's get it on. Sprites. During a heavy thunderstorm at an altitude of 30 to 90 kilometers, sprites may appear in the atmosphere. They are unusual lightning bolts of different shapes and colors.
Whoa.
They reach 100 kilometers in diameter and live less than 100 milliseconds, but sometimes this natural phenomenon can be caught on camera. This phenomenon was first photographed in 1989 when scientists from the University of Minnesota were testing a new high-sensitivity camera for research at high altitude. The camera was aimed at the stars, but accidentally it caught a distant thunderstorm and a funnel-shaped sprite, which occurred at an altitude of 30 kilometers in the atmosphere. Today, this phenomenon has already been thoroughly studied. Usually, sprites appear in groups and less often alone. The color and shape depend on the altitude at which they occur, due to differences in pressure and the composition of the atmosphere. For example, if a sprite appears at a height of 70 kilometers, it will be red because of nitrogen. These amazing lightning bolts are best seen during new moon periods when the sky is darkest. Another unusual feature of sprites is that they don't move downwards like the rest of lightning bolts, but in the wrong direction, upwards. Tree water. In the small village of Dinosa in Montenegro, you can witness a truly unique natural phenomenon. Here grows an old mulberry tree, which turns into a fountain every time after heavy rain. A powerful stream of water comes out from the tree hollow. You might think that someone had laid a water pipe inside the tree and that there's a water tower somewhere around, but no, it's just nature and its pranks. Apparently, the rains flood the underground springs and create additional pressure, pushing water along the tree trunk. So, the water flows through the cracks in the trunk and through the hollow, of course. The tree stands in a meadow, and it's said that water sometimes flows through the holes in the ground too. According to the locals, the fountain tree has been pleasing them for many years. According to some reports, about 25 years, but others say that for much longer. Some locals claim the natural spring has been there for as long as they can remember. The tree itself is estimated to be 100 to 150 years old. However, it is unlikely that the wood will benefit from such excess of water, as it can begin to rot from the inside, but so far it doesn't seem to be a problem. Moving island. Earth is quite a stable element. Unlike fire, water, and air, it takes thousands of years for the continents to move, so you don't have to worry that crazy neighbor living across the street will one day end up a bit too close to you. But sometimes nature does some crazy stuff and starts moving islands. Yeah, just like that, along with the grass, the bushes, and the fences. This happened once in Uganda, and although the phenomenon was the consequence of an earthquake, that doesn't make it less incredible, less awesome, or less strange. Smoking elephant. No, it's not a circus show from the beginning of the 20th century. In the spring of 2018, an elephant in an Indian national park was spotted producing smoke. But it wasn't steam due to low temperature. The elephant really emitted smoke like a steam engine. The clip was shot during a camera traps inspection in Nagar Hole National Park. Although India's conservationists have extensive experience and regularly inspect all of the country's nature parks, this was the first time they'd seen this phenomenon. But don't worry, the elephant is fine. The explanation for her behavior was found by the biologist Varun Goswami. He suggested that the animal was most likely eating burning charcoal. After picking up the charcoal pieces from the ground, the elephant blew away the ash and swallowed them, but the combustion process didn't stop immediately, so the smoke began to come out of the animal's mouth. And this isn't strange at all, because charcoal is of great value to the animals. It has toxin-binding properties and performs many other useful functions. Fortunately, animals can't use fire, so they find the charcoal in a burned area of the forest, for example as a result of lightning strikes. Green clouds. If you ever see green storm clouds, you should probably hide. This is a sign that the storm will be particularly powerful and dangerous. Moreover, a tornado may be approaching. People in regions where tornadoes are common knew hundreds of years ago that green clouds don't mean anything good. But this isn't just a superstition, there's an actual scientific explanation for it. The green color arises because of all the water in the clouds. When there's too much water, clouds should be blue, and indeed often remain so. But if you add the yellow and reddish colors of the sunset rays, you get a dirty green shade. It's no coincidence that one of the most destructive tornadoes that hit Michigan in 1980 was known as the Green Storm. However, green clouds do not necessarily mean that a tornado is approaching. A massive storm with heavy rainfalls also warns of its appearance with green color, but still, it can be a tornado, and in such a situation, it's best not to risk it and leave any dangerous places as soon as possible. Traveling spiders. Do you need an idea for a horror movie based on real events? How about spider rain?
That is so scary.
It really does happen, and people in different countries suffer from these unusual precipitations. The spider invasion goes on as follows. Newborn spiders climb high up in the trees, where they make a kind of parachute out of spider webs. Then the wind picks them up and transports them over long distances. Of course, many die on the road, eaten by predators or landing in the water, but we're talking about millions of spiders, which quite successfully invade new territories. But sometimes something goes wrong, and the wind that was supposed to transport the spiders suddenly stops. As a result, they all fall on a very narrow area, entangling entire neighborhoods with their webs. Sometimes not only baby spiders, but also adult spiders go on trips. This happens during some natural disasters like floods. Spiders have a high ability to survive, and in a moment of danger, quickly create a parachute from the web and safely fly on it to a nicer place. Snow rollers. Sometimes you can witness a very interesting phenomenon. Apparently, someone has made snow roll and then disappeared into thin air. But in fact, these rollers appear in a different way, and the wind is responsible for it. If it's strong enough, it can roll up parts of the snow, which will slide off the hill and gradually increase in size. Of course, this does not always happen. Snow rollers can appear if the ground is covered with a layer of ice, which will not stick to the newly fallen snow. On top of that, the snow itself should be wet and loose. The temperature should be close to ice melting temperature. Moreover, snow rollers require certain wind parameters. It should be strong enough to move the snow rollers, but not too fast. And of course, you need an inclined surface on which the snow will roll. That's why this usually happens on hilly terrain, although not so frequently. Synchronous fireflies. There are about 2,000 species of fireflies in the world, but the so-called synchronous fireflies, with their incredible ability to create a light show, live only in a few places of our planet. For example, if you want to see this unique light show curated by nature itself, you may visit the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, located in the United States. There are 19 species of fireflies here, each of which shines in its own way, but only specimens of the Photinus carolinus have learn to synchronize their actions. These insects emit light only during the mating period, which lasts only 2 weeks. To get started, the insects wait for total darkness. The males start with short, random flashes 6 to 8 times within 8 seconds until it's finally completely dark. You could say that they're warming up. Then the cycle repeats. The darker it gets, the more impressive it becomes. The fireflies start flashing like Christmas lights. The males flash while flying, and the females usually stay on the ground and respond with a less vivid double flash at irregular intervals. Males see them in the grass and fly down. At this point, they begin to compete with each other. This way, the fireflies find their partners, and people get a unique opportunity to enjoy one of the most unusual natural phenomena on our planet. Star jelly. Sometimes nature has a runny nose too. You don't believe us? Well, you've simply never seen a star jelly. It's a rather specific gelatin substance that can sometimes be found on grass or even trees. The sticky and unpleasant mass really seems to be something alien and, according to legends, appears on the ground after a starfall.
Yes, possible space jelly, is it? We don't know.
It is a beautiful but wrong theory, because this jelly would simply evaporate from the high temperatures and pressure changes that all the bodies entering the Earth's atmosphere experience. But what is this, if not a strange space slime? The main clue here may be that it's often found near water bodies. Star jelly is very similar to unfertilized frog spawn. Therefore, it's believed that in some cases it may be the eggs of amphibians swallowed and then spat out by other animals, but this is only an assumption of scientists. According to another version, some of these samples of star jelly may be a kind of mold or colonies of algae, which develop into a gelatinous mass after the rain. Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies?